This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Thursday, the 9th of May, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. The Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago says the child recently seen in a video being choked by a woman in Port of Spain has now been placed in the care of relatives. It says the collaborative efforts of the Children's Authority and the Child Protection Unit of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and concerned citizens have led to locating the child who was seen in a video being choked by a woman. Sheldon Cyrus, Director, Chief Executive Officer of the authority, says the child will be placed in the care of suitable and responsible relatives, and the authority will monitor the child's placement to ensure the child's needs are met. The Office of the Attorney General and Legal Affairs is willing to pay for what has been described as reasonable fees incurred by the Auditor General for the obtaining of independent legal advice relating to a letter dated April 17 this year on whether she is required to consider the amendment statements in light of the provisions granted in the Exchequer and Audit Act. Attorney General Reginald Moore says he responded to the Auditor General's request in correspondence sent on April 19th at the news briefing held yesterday, Wednesday. The AG read some of the contents of the letter he sent to the Auditor General, which he said was specific and confined to the request made. Meanwhile, Auditor General Jaiwanti Ramdas has alleged that Finance Minister Colm Imber tried to bully and intimidate her to change her 2023 audit report and that he crossed the line in doing so. She said further that the attacks against her in the Parliament by both Minister Imber and Attorney General Armour on April 26th caused her great humiliation and distress, so much so she had to abandon her errands in the public domain and retreat to her home. Ramdas has commenced illegal action against the Attorney General, seeking, among other things, she has the right to retain a legal representative to defend herself on issues that have arisen pertaining to the preparation and laying of the Auditor General's Report 2023 in the Parliament. According to Ramdas' affidavit, Amber called on April 3, 2024 and inquired whether she was aware of the problem regarding the missing $3.4 billion in the national accounts that were presented, and she indicated it had been brought to her attention. The affidavit went on to state Amber asked her what she could do to help the government resolve the problem. Ramdas expressed concern that her office would be unfairly blamed by having to accept responsibility for a mistake of such magnitude and response. The minister, acting Prime Minister Thursday, told her, "We will deal with that question of blame later on. Don't worry about that," and said I needed to cooperate with the government to solve the problem, end quote. The Auditor General said the telephone call left her feeling uneasy. The tone and attitude of the minister made her very uncomfortable. She added it was not in keeping with established protocol. Meanwhile, Forces Harbor Minister Colm Imber describes allegations from the opposition that $386 million has gone missing in the Ministry of Finance. Opposition leader Khan Prasad Bisesa made the claims while speaking at the UNC's Monday night cottage meeting held at the Brazil High School. The Member of Parliament for Siparia also called for an explanation of monies leaving TNT, which she claimed amount to $231 million. The destruction of murtis at the Sanatan Dhamma Mahasaba's temple in Kirip is being described as a hate crime and a result of past political silence on similar attacks. The attack, which took place at 3 a.m. yesterday at the Bharatiya Via Abhyas Mandile, commonly known as the Watt Street Mandir, saw the destruction of 3 life-sized and 5 smaller concrete murtis. Legal advisor to the SDMS, Dinesh Rambali, said the act of desecration points to a targeted attack on the Hindu community. A series of steps are being taken before the Housing Development Corporation decides to evict tenants who owe HDC outstanding monies. The update from Minister of Housing, Camille Robinson Regis, while speaking at an HDC More Ways to Pay final installation. The event was held at Government Campus in Port of Spain this past Tuesday. 2 new water treatment plants at Goldsboro, Tobago, and Santa Cruz will cost about $48.7 million and $80.7 million respectively. The Water and Sewage Authority will commence work in June on the projects. They will facilitate the treatment of an additional 6.5 million gallons of water per day. Meantime, consultations have already taken place in Tobago and Santa Cruz on the new water treatment plants in both communities. WASA said its reps plan to return to follow-up meetings in each of the related communities to announce the project commencement and to introduce residents to community liaison personnel who will be the points of contact for any grievances or issues that may arrive during the lifetime of the projects. In news of the region, Jamaica has welcomed an impressive 1.7 million visitors within the past 5 months of the year, with sailboat stopover and cruise passengers arrivals recording increases over the corresponding periods last year. A release from Jamaica's Ministry of Tourism reveals that based on preliminary data, the island recorded 1,016,185 stopover arrivals and 700,000 cruise passengers as of May 5th and 7th, respectively, earning approximately US $1.8 billion in revenue. That represents a 4.6 increase in stopover arrivals and 23% increase in cruise passengers, moving from 581,822,000 to 713,983 over 2023. Finally, X-Rays, or X, says that nearly all of its customers will receive the money back they owed 2 years after the cryptocurrency exchange imploded, and some will get more than that. FTX says a court ruling filed late Tuesday it owes about $11.2 billion to creditors. The exchange estimates it has between $14.5 billion to $16.3 billion to distribute to such persons. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming your way at 7 a.m. That'll be brought to you with the compliments of Genesco Appliances Limited nationwide.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Morning and neighbors, and welcome to the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. Yep, good morning to you all. It is 7 minutes after the hour, 6 o'clock on this, the 9th day. 9 days already gone in May 2024. Thank you so much for joining us on Facebook, on YouTube, on television, on Flow Channel 111. Digicel Channel 20, Flow HD 109, and of course, Ampli at 117. All right, thank you so much. Of course, you can also WhatsApp us at 3181021. Before I get into my hellos, let's say good morning to a chap who's quite peachy this morning. Good morning to you, Paul.
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, everyone.
What's happening? You're quite peachy.
Very sleepy.
Yeah, boy. I catch my aunt, uncle, and Nene trying to wake up this morning. I couldn't. I had to force myself to get up. I did. And I went outside and I checked to see if water came, and water did come. Having some serious water issues, I tell you. Anyway, thank you so much, folks, for joining us. Let's see who sent us hellos first thing this morning. We got Wendy and James. We got John Cato, DJ Ray out in Tampa, got Celia in Valencia, Boy Badesi out in Davie, Marcia Rock in Orlando, Oliver Man Warren, Sasha out in London, Edwin Marshall, Maria Celia, Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida. We got D. Pierre, we got Anthony Tinto in Ontario, Canada. We've got Miss Ingrid out in Tucson, Arizona. Carol Guevara, Patricia McLean, Rena Boodoo Jennings out in Pitti Valley. Alistair Hart, Ian Lee, good morning, wherever in the world you are. Gloria Gray, Wayne B. out in Covington, Georgia. Yep, he's back, folks. He's back. CJ out in New York, Sherwin Kerr, Josie Richardson, Brent Sylvester, Brent Hackshaw, Roland, good morning to you. I say Banda Her, Dave S.N. Singh, Trinity B, good morning. Richard Duku, wow, and anyhow, Miguel, good morning. Hope all is well. On WhatsApp, good morning to GNC Auto Security, Val, Dan Raj. Good morning to you all. A lot of messages this morning, guys. Hope you guys had a great night. Of course, today it's the R's. We'll be joined by Richard Ragoobarsingh. We got Shane in the mix. We got Ruben in the mix. Of course, my name is Steve Khan. I'm quite jealous of Paul as he sips his coffee. I made coffee this morning.
I need that coffee this morning. Let me tell you.
I made it this morning and I forgot it at home. But don't worry, when I go home and do it, it's in my little flask that keeps stuff hot for 12 hours. So I'll get it when I get home. It'll still be hot. That's what I love about it. Ian Lee says he's in central London this morning having lunch.
Well, it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock there.
Yeah, is that really lunch, bro? Adrian Koto, good morning. So I'm very glad to hear that the TDPS and has awarded that child that video went viral. Of course, thank goodness cops stepped in, where the mother was seen manhandling a child, allegedly the mother. And I actually played it again last night, and the child was saying, "I can't breathe." I didn't hear that part, and I was more appalled than anything else. You know, I don't know what is going on with parents and the abuse.
Well, you know? It's unfortunate, and I'm glad that the passerby decided to intervene, although the passerby very well chastised also, and said the woman, and as a general unfortunate sentiment, but it's my child, I could do what I want with my child.
That's the mindset.
That's the mindset. So I could abuse the child. I could literally choke the child to the point the child is screaming, "I can't breathe. Mommy, I can't breathe." And you don't feel that anybody should stop you from abusing the child in full public. And if you could be so bold to do that on the street in Port of Spain, what are you doing the child at home?
Yeah, much less.
What are you doing the child at home? I don't know. This country has so many messed up people.
Boy.
I wonder what's going to happen, because that child looks like about 10 or 11.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I would say around 9. Yeah.
I'm very doubtful that, and let me first of all congratulate the TTPS.
Yes.
Because this is the second intervention they've done in the last week, a couple of days, where children are in perilous situations. In the first instance, the video of the boy choking his mother or restraining his mother on the ground. Superintendent Clay Guy Allen intervened very quickly, and they found that family and added help. And now this one quickly intervened, but the police officers were on the scene quickly in that one. So let me commend the police for that. But with that second, the one with the boy being choked in Port of Spain, if he's 10 or 11, at some point he's going to be released back into the care of his mother.
He will be.
Think about it. So
eventually,
is she going to receive some kind of intervention and counseling to know how she should be treating her child? Or is the time going to elapse where they could keep her, they can't keep her unless some sort of, I guess, legal maneuver takes place from her child indefinitely? That child is like 9, 10, 11 when you look at the child. So what's going to happen?
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to find out what happens where that is concerned. Anyway. Got some really interesting responses.
Yeah. You're right. It's the third. Yeah.
I got this online yesterday.
Yeah, that's when they touched down in Cedrus. That's the Black Hawk helicopters of the U.S. Army.
These are magnificent machines, though. So they're doing some training in Trinidad and Tobago. They say training, but I think they're doing a little more. I have no evidence to support that statement, but
you know, oddly enough, Paul, so 2 U.S. Army aircrafts landed in St. Kitts yesterday, and then I was, you know me, the geek in me again. I was watching the airport. There's a webcam at St. Martin's Maho Beach airport near the runway, and I saw another U.S. Army jet aircraft landed there, and I'm going, oh, Trinidad, St. Kitts, St. Martin, what's going on?
Well, I don't think it's by coincidence
That's what I said.
that 3 Black Hawk helicopters are in Trinidad and Tobago.
Hmm.
I can't remember what day they came here, but for the
They
last
came on Friday.
right.
Yeah.
I think they came before Friday. But at the same time that they are here, we saw over the weekend reports of 8 people arrested for illegal mining.
Hmm.
Is that a coincidence?
Things that make you go.
I don't believe in coincidence, first of all. And these machines are extremely good at surveillance, and they're flying around the country, training Trinidad and Tobago personnel, Air Guard personnel. So, and all of a sudden we see arrests of persons. Now, it'd be very unlikely the Ministry of National Security will ever admit, well, we're doing joint exercises with the U.S. Army. They ain't going to admit it. They will say they come to train people. And by the way, we happen to arrest 8 people for illegal mining after a long while of no one being arrested for illegal mining.
Exactly. It's going in front of people's faces, and nothing is done. All of a sudden, boom. And one is the son of a Tobago businessman as well.
That's what the report says.
Yeah.
So the report says. The other video I want to share this morning.
Yeah, share.
Sometimes people don't see the whole story, before they make comments. Good morning, Wendell.
Where is he?
And let's put down nothing. Explain to me what you're doing here. Explain to me what you're doing here. In my house. Explain. No. Why you don't want to say what you're doing here?
No, tell you.
Shut up. I'll mash up all I want to wear there. It in the yard? It in the yard?
You're under arrest, you're not obliged.
I'm not an arrest. Come and arrest me. Come.
Put down the blade.
No, come and arrest me.
Put down the blade.
Well, come take it.
I'm not coming to take the blade. You need to put down the blade.
Or else what?
Else we are not for now. I don't want to have a cause for the shooting like that.
Go ahead, you can go ahead and shoot me,
Now, if that is the case we discussed yesterday,
I'm trying with the mental challenge chap.
Apparently, well, Wendell brought it up yesterday, where apparently someone who was acting in an irate manner was this event and said to have a mental condition and was brandishing a cutlass, eventually was shot by police and he died. This seems to be the precursor to that.
Yeah, but why does he have to have his firearm in his hand?
And where he'll have it, Steve, in his pocket with the man brandishing a cutlass?
Yeah, the man don't put it in the holster, but you don't hold it and hold it down. You'd figure you pull that out.
So the man rushes to you with the cutlass because you don't know what he's going to do. He's acting in an irate manner. Put it in the holster and wait for him to chop you and then pull out the gun. That's what you should do, right?
You have it in the holster.
Oh, and then take 3 seconds to pull it out while the man rushing to you with the cutlass.
If you're going to pull it out, Paul, you have to point. You can't leave it on the ground.
So he shouldn't have it in his hand. With the man brandishing a cutlass and threatening and saying, come and take it.
So let's look at the stance here. The police officer is standing. One hand on the hip. One hand on his firearm facing down. If he has to use that firearm, he has to hold it in a position where put it down. Either he uses both hands and put it to the side. With the extra time you're going to take to move your hand up and point and shoot. That is the correct way of doing it.
You
don't stand up on a hip and put one hand down.
So your initial point that it should be in the holster, how does his hand and his hip have to do with that? So he should put it in a holster and put both hands where? I'm trying to understand your logic.
I'll leave it there.
No, let's look at it again.
Look at it again.
So he shouldn't have the gun in his hand.
No, there's a proper way of training in which to deal with this matter. Is that what they train in St. James?
Explain to me what you're doing here.
You said the gun should be in the holster.
Explain.
somebody brandishing
Man is
a cutlass at me
behind.
and acting in an
No.
irate manner, I'm not supposed to
Why you
have
don't
my
want to say
weapon
what
on
you're doing
ready.
here?
No, I do think that is how
Shut
they
up.
train people to deal
I'll
with
mash up
people
all
when
you
you're in a
want to wear
threatening
there.
position.
Into the yard. Into
That's
the
all I'm
yard.
saying.
You're under arrest, you're not obliged.
I'm not an arrest. Come and arrest me. Come.
Put down the
Come.
blade.
No, come and
I
arrest
don't know
me.
about you.
That is my
Put
take
down
on it.
Well,
There's
come take it.
somebody brandishing a cutlass at me and acting in an irate,
Or else
irrational,
what?
unstable manner.
for now.
I will have my weapon on the ready.
Go, you can go ahead and shoot me, you know.
I don't want to take 3
But there's two things there.
And the person shot me.
Yeah, but there's two things there. One, he pulled it out, and two, he's not in a ready stance.
You are confusing me. Your position and this is confusing to me.
No. And Ron M, to answer your question, a lot of my friends do have FULs, and I have been to the range and stuff when they go.
Oh, so when you go to the range, you get fire training too.
No, I go with them. They walk with an instructor.
By dint of being there, you are also trained in using firearms.
No, I watch them.
Okay. So you'll find
Proper way to hold, and it's not as easy
put
as
it in the
people think.
holster while a man is literally threatening me. Literally threatening me. I'm sorry. I have no problem with him having it at the ready in case this man charges to disable.
Yeah, what I'm saying, I'm just saying, if someone is brandishing, if I'm that police officer and a man is 20 meters away from me brandishing a cutlass, I'm in a ready stance. I won't have my hand on my hip and my firearm strong.
But you're focusing on the hand and the hip. Your initial statement was that the gun should be in the holster.
Well, you start there. The gun is in your holster. You're being threatened. Once you pull it out of the holster is when you're in a ready stance.
Also, the hand and the hip bothering you. That's what bothering you.
Well, it's not a ready stance.
Also, it in the holster and standing at attention or something is the ready stance. Let's move on. More bacchanal continues with the Auditor General, Jayanti Ramdas, now disclosing, and well, it has been disclosed in an affidavit filed that she has commenced legal action against the Attorney General, who held a press conference yesterday to clarify, among other things, this situation. And he said he always promised to pay for the reasonable cost of legal representation for the Auditor General, whom he had advised that he could not advise her because he was already advising the Minister of Finance. And she had sent, I think, a couple of protocol letters, pre-action protocol letters, and now it seems to be going to court where she's demanding that the legal fees be paid. But from my understanding, the Attorney General had always said he was going to pay what? Well, reasonable is interpretable, reasonable cost. And the affidavit added that, and I'm quoting from the papers, the Express this morning now, according to Ramdas's affidavit, Imber, meaning Minister Colm Imber, the Minister of Finance, called her on April 3rd, 2024 and inquired whether she was aware of the problems regarding the missing $3.4 billion in the national accounts that were presented, and she indicated it had been brought to her attention. Imber asked her what she could do to help the government resolve the problem. And I hope this is a paraphraser, because that would be very disturbing if that happened, and if those were the words used. Because it wasn't her job to help the government resolve the problem. if that is what was said. I'm reading from a newspaper here. Ramdas expressed concern that her office would be unfairly blamed by having to accept responsibility for a mistake of such magnitude. And in response, she said, the minister, in brackets, acting prime minister, tersely told me, open quotations, we will deal with the question of blame later on. Don't worry about that. And said, I need to cooperate with the government and solve the problem. If this is what is said, that's a disturbing conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That is a really, if I were the Auditor General, and if, I stress, if that's the conversation the Minister of Finance was having with me, I would be very uncomfortable also. If That was the conversation. But as I said, I wasn't there. This was what is being reported in the newspaper from an affidavit. The Auditor General said, open quotation, this telephone call left me feeling very uneasy and with an uneasy feeling. The tone and attitude of the minister made me very uncomfortable. I felt intimidated and extremely worried. I was concerned and worried because it was not the first time that the Minister of Finance had called me personally about my audit reports, and I felt he was crossing the line. It was not in keeping with established protocols. Tell you. Morning, Ragoobarsingh.
Good morning. Good morning to our listeners, wherever you are. Listeners and viewers, of course.
I apologize for the delay.
No, it's all right. I was going through some erratic signal areas, so I wasn't sure if it was going to connect or not.
Yes, I was just regaling the audience with the affidavit of what the Auditor General said. One of the conversations between herself and Minister Imber entailed, and he said, the minister said, tersely told me, we will deal with the issue of blame later on. Don't worry about that. That I needed to cooperate with the government to solve the problem. If that is the tone of the conversation and the tenet of the conversation, that I would be very worried also. That's a little much.
Well, the Auditor General has filed action in court, which I think you just said. And well, of course, the AG would have had a press conference yesterday addressing some of the issues. So we'll see how all of this plays out.
Of the supposed, that's what I kept saying yesterday, the bill, the document purporting to be the firearm amendment bill that the AG also referenced yesterday and said it was unfortunate that iteration of the document was leaked and someone was up to political mischief, and I'm paraphrasing here, by leaking that iteration of the document. So how do these things leak? How does this country have a bad leaking problem with water and documents?
It seems that way.
Well, it always had.
Everything is
the
Attorney General now too.
No, but it always had a leakage It always had a document leakage problem, because sometimes it leaked arbitrarily, and sometimes it leaked into people's post boxes. So you always had documents suddenly appearing. People having said, "Well, this was left in my mailbox."
It leaked. The same document leaked into my mailbox yesterday. As with another document leaked into my mailbox this morning, which has a masthead of the judiciary, and dated the 19th of October 2020, and is directed to Mr. Roger Gaspar, Senior Counsel, Director of Public Prosecutions. And the caption is press release by the Director of Public Prosecution of October 16th. Reference made to the captioned matter that leaked into my inbox this morning.
And what was that leaked document? What does that leaked document say?
Well, it's purported to be from the judiciary to the Director of Public Prosecution. And the date is...
I know, but saying what?
Well, about agreement on the filing of committal bundles.
The electronic filing.
Yeah. So, and there's quite a number of cases attached and contained therein. And it references, with the COVID-19 public health regulations, several practice directions were issued with regard to filing practice directions covering the period March 16th, 2020 to June 15th, the first period, where I guess that is where they started, as you said yesterday, Richard, the electronic filing to facilitate the COVID-19 restrictions and movement, the restriction of movement. So a lot of documents leaking these days, And I don't know why there's my phone that's been something, because it's just leaking to my phone. So my phone has happened to be in the right place at the right time and it's leaking to my phone. I get some pieces of the support purported to be that of the audit report too. Good morning, SSA. The pink phone, not the green phone. The pink phone, not the green phone.
Just so they'll be monitoring your mailbox. Electronic and otherwise.
It's not in the green phone, it's in this phone. So make sure you tap the pink phone, not the green phone, or the red phone with the pink case, or the peach case, right? Make sure and tap the right phone, please. Right?
Oh my goodness.
Ragoobarsingh, what is your opinion on this? Are you able to see the screen of your phone and be safe? I will just buff me the boy. Wow.
You should buff your phone.
Because I didn't send the updated news.
Oh.
She's like Richard. Good morning.
Wedding news.
With a tone. You have anxiety attacks between these two people. And because I was trying to clean up the news and update it for her, you know. She don't think I'm trying to help her. Whew. Are you able to look at your screen safely, Ragoobarsingh?
I can look at it briefly, yes.
Okay, it's not long, so there we go.
Let's put down nothing. Explain to me what you're doing here. Explain to me what you're doing here. In my house, explain. No. Why you don't want to say what you're doing here?
No, tell you.
Shut up. I'll mash up all I want to wear there. It's in the yard. It's in the yard.
You're under arrest, you're not obliged.
I'm not an arrest. Come and arrest me. Come.
Put down the
Come.
blade.
No, come and arrest me.
Put down the blade.
Well, come take it.
And that coming to take the blade. Put down the blade.
Or else what?
Else we are not for now. I don't want to have no force for the shoot anything like that.
Go, you can go ahead and shoot me, you know.
So what are your thoughts on the officer having his weapon drawn?
Well, there's an obvious threat because in terms of the confrontation, and the police officer is already saying that you're under arrest. So I think
I'm trying to de-escalate.
Yeah, and he's not being hostile in his tone. He's saying please he didn't say please, but he said put on the cutlass. To me, I don't know where tasers are in terms of the issue, because tasers can, to me, this is a situation where a taser could have been helpful.
That would have been the ideal. Steve mentioned that yesterday, that a taser would have been ideal in that situation.
Yeah, because you would have said, you would say, I'm giving you your third warning, or I am going to tase you.
Yeah.
And that person certainly sounds like they're not going to take you on, so then you get tased and you're taken into custody.
Exactly.
Because was this the person who was pelting the cars?
I can't say. It seems to have been. I didn't see the end, but if it was the one where the police tried to de-escalate and the person was eventually shot and died, and the person was said to in the newspaper report have a mental issue. It may
right. So I wasn't sure if this was the same person or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure, so I don't want to say definitively because I don't know.
Okay. Because it's.
I have no problem with the officer having weapons drawn because the person is threatening and on the ground. That's a threat.
Yeah, and police officers are in front of you, telling you and cautioning you to put down a weapon, and you are refusing to do so. In fact, you are
challenging them to come and take it.
You are challenging them and dragging it on the ground. You obviously, a police officer is going to draw their weapon or seek to protect themselves. Yeah, I don't know if that's the same incident where that person was shot and killed.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know
if it's that person because it seems strange that one would come up. That particular video would come up just a day or so after the incident. I think it was in Barrackpore, where this mentally ill guy was stoning cars and breaking their windscreens and stuff like that. And the police turned up, and he reputedly had a cutlass and and was threatening and was shot. So that's where my mind went. I was wondering if this is the incident.
Well, I think the officers, from what I see, I don't know what transpired after,
Yeah.
but they were really trying to de-escalate the situation from what I saw here.
Were people criticizing the police officers or something?
Yeah, well, I was saying that I found it to be a kind of unprofessional manner in which why is he holding his firearm? 1. 2, why is it pointing to the ground? And 3, he's not in a ready stance if anything happens.
Add the next piece. Don't forget the next piece. Your find should be the holster.
No, when you go there, no, Paul, don't throw what I said. What I said is that if 1, the gun is in the holster. 2, you take it out and you go to a ready stance. You don't hold it with one hand on the hip and the firearm on the ground.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one listening. The audience.
No, but one of my firearm instructors told me here, has sent me a message. He says, Steve, if that is how they train people at the police force, they have it all wrong. And that is from a firearm instructor.
Well, I mean, I am not en courant with what ready stance is in terms of that. Just looking at it, and I think for a lot of people just watching it, they wouldn't fault the police officer in terms of getting ready in case some issue was to happen. The formality of are you in the correct position, how you holding the weapon, and etc. I don't think a lot of lay people will be monitoring that so granular in terms of assessing it. I think we'd just be looking at, is this a threat? And should I get ready in terms of my weapon? My only thing is that I would have thought that they would have had tasers.
Yeah. Do they have tasers?
They're supposed to. I thought tasers were part and parcel of the general police uniform. Now, this is me thinking that, but obviously it isn't, because in that situation, it's unclear, but it doesn't seem as if tasers were part of the issue, or part of the outfitting of the police officer.
Yeah. Did you see any body cams?
Well, you know that is never there. That is never there. And you don't. And what is curious too is you don't know who's taping. Is it the person with the cutlass taping?
Well, that's a good point. That's actually a good point.
Let's put down nothing.
It seems like that it could be the bandit with the cutlass.
Explain to me what you do here.
Because the way the cutlass comes up sometimes in the frame.
Yeah. No. It looks like their phone.
Why you don't want to say what you're doing here?
See, that's close to the cutlass, so that looks like some bandits might have placed with the cutlass.
It's in the yard?
You're under arrest, you're not obliged.
I'm not under arrest. Come and arrest me. Come.
No,
come and arrest me.
And you see why I'm thinking this is the issue from Barrack. And we don't know at this point.
Go, you can go ahead and shoot me.
Is he says where all is, I'll mash that up too.
Yeah, he issued some threat.
So I am thinking he's talking about their vehicle.
Yeah.
And saying I will mash that up too, meaning I already mashed up inverted commas other vehicles.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of went to that Barrackport incident, but of course it's not confirmed that it is that incident or not.
I don't know. I think teaser would have been ideal. The other one of the big stories that's very disturbing this morning is again a destruction of motifs at a temple, the Sanatan Dhamma Mahasabha temple in Kirep. It is the destruction is being described as a hate crime, and also the result of past political silence in the face of similar attacks. I would have seen both the government and the opposition denounce past desecrations of temples. Would you remember that, Richard?
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know what past political silence means. The members of the executive of the Mahasabha are convinced that what we've seen over a period of time is culminating with the act of desecration, that it is targeting the Hindu community. Well, a number of temples have been desecrated in the last year or so.
But you had temples, didn't you have a couple mosques
And a
too?
couple of mosques too. Yeah, and I think a church, if I'm not mistaken.
And a church or two had been desecrated too.
Yeah.
So I don't think maybe more Hindu temples. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't keeping count.
Yeah, unfortunate development.
But yeah, but it's disgusting and ridiculous.
But some of the murtis were decapitated, which is really
that's ridiculous and sickening.
That's sickening and really deplorable. So I don't know what the authorities can do past holding people responsible. But
yeah, I mean going to religious places and damaging
not just damage this
desecrating images or statues and stuff, whether it be a mosque, a Christian church.
Doesn't matter. Do you think it's a hate crime? Do you think it should be described as a hate crime? Ragoobarsingh, you come back. You blocked off for a while. Anyway, that could be our question this morning. If we think the desecration of the temple is a hate crime. Anyway, those are the big stories rotating this morning. Of course, the big story continues in the country to be the impasse between the Office of the Auditor General and her attorneys and the Minister of Finance and the Attorney General. And of course, more is being said now, including an affidavit being attributed to the Auditor General, Jaiwanti Ramdas, who said that Minister Imber called on April 3rd, 2024. And after the conversation, she felt intimidated and extremely worried because it was not the first time the Minister of Finance called her about her audit reports, and she felt he was crossing the line. So, I don't know. One of the people on the chat is saying it was on the TV6 news last night, and the man broke a few windscreens with bricks. His father gave an interview after, yeah, I probably gave that question, but so many of these things rotate round and round and round and round. We could ask if Minister of Finance crossed the line. Richard seems to be having a connectivity issue, so he logged back home when he's in the vicinity of more stable bandwidth. And let's go across to Jamaica now. Jamaica has welcomed since January 2024 an impressive 1.7 million visitors, inclusive of both stopover and cruise passenger arrivals, totaling, drum roll, US $1.8 billion in revenue. That is like almost 12 billion TT dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Of our $50-something billion budget. You see the power of tourism? 1,016,185 stopover arrivals and over 700,000 cruise ship passengers as at May 5th and 7th. Now that's impressive. Jamaica will host the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association 2024 Platinum Members Cruise Summit in June, further solidifying their status as the Caribbean's destination choice premier. You understand? Part of it too, we have to recognize, is that Jamaica is how long from Miami, Steve? An hour and 10 minutes?
Yeah, a little over an hour.
That their proximity to the North American landmass is also one of the reasons. Of course, they have an amazing North Coast beach situation, you know, and they've done a lot to continue to promote tourism and brand Jamaica. We should take some notes. I mean, we are slowly improving, but we're nowhere near in that thing. I mean, Barbados is also doing a lot in tourism because I guess also we have to remember that their mainstay, both Jamaica and Barbados, for decades has been tourism. So they put a lot more into their tourism product and promotion and all of that stuff. So good for them. Good for them. And if you've ever been to Jamaica, I used to argue with my Jamaican friends all the time. Jamaica is Trinidad and Tobago is more beautiful than Jamaica. Now, I will still stay with that position, but when you go to Jamaica, you kind of get quiet when you go to the North Coast of Jamaica because Montego Bay, Negril, Ocho Rios are stunning destinations.
Yeah, I've never been to Jamaica.
Beautiful. I mean, I've been to Jamaica 3 times, and it is those North Coast areas in particular. I like Kingston too for the culture, but North Coast Jamaica is just stunning. We have beautiful beaches in Tobago too, and 1 or 2 in Trinidad, but we haven't developed them to the stage that Jamaica and Barbados has in terms of the infrastructure for tourism. Not to mention, but Jamaica are crime too, we are crime, but they do a lot to promote tourism. All right, let's roll into the newspapers this morning. It is Thursday, the 9th of May. Let's start with the Express, the front page. Murtis beheaded. Kirep Temple desecrated in violent attacks. Auditor General sues Attorney General, claims Imber bullied her. Simply not true. Armour's office refused to pay legal costs. The Attorney General said it is not true. Rights breached. AG sued by Auditor General. Hindus under attack. And a picture of one of the Murtis desecrated on the ground. It's really heartrending, and it is just a disgusting attack on a place of religious worship. It is just so disgusting. Oh my God. HDC not wicked. Ramdas, calm crossed the line. The bird flu threat and a functional emergency response plan. Who did this? Hindu temple in Kirep desecrated. Murder number 198 in Point Fortin. And no hush money until NWRHA admits liability, says grieving parents. DPP says his hands are tied. And Imber retired Judge Harris to chair team. Of course, that's the team comprised to investigate what went wrong with the missing, they keep saying missing, but the contentious $3.4 billion. Let's go to The Guardian now for today. Kamla, public accounts probe and illegal sham. Dispute over legal fees heading to court. Businessman loses $10 million as Barrackpore warehouse goes up in flames. Cops probe video of violence involving children. Congratulations to Superintendent Claire Guy James and her team intervening in the last couple of days in quick time to put children to safety. Let's congratulate the police and Inspector Guy James and her team and for that great work. At the front page of The Guardian, it's a sham. Of course, Mrs. Pasabi says talking about this cabinet-appointed committee into the understatement of public revenues for 2023. Cops reviewing online interview done by Hannah's brother. I saw Ian Allen interviewing Hannah's brother and talking about what he saw. I'm so upset I didn't get his number at that consultation last week. Anyway, Murti is destroyed in attack in Kirep Hindu temple. Community trauma centers needed for healing from crime. Fear in High Place 2 months after mass shooting. And Cocorate quiet as police and soldiers keep up patrols. Let's move now to the Newsday for today. Hines, challenge to earliest extension was frivolous. Of course, that challenge was stood down. Draft Firearm Act, not government policy. Professor David Piku's funeral on Thursday. AG, I never refused to pay Auditor General's legal fees. Judge upholds acting prisons commissioner's promotions challenge. Appeal court, top cop 1 year extension was valid. And also latest attack on places of worship, 6 Murtis destroyed. Children's Authority choked child in video safe. And Kamla, FIUs unaccounted for 6.3 million. Biggest joke of the Auditor General's report. So those are trending stories in your Express, Guardian, and Newsday for today. Sorry, Ragoobarsingh. Thursday night. You want to add any headlines? So you might have the papers in your hand.
I do have the papers, but I mean, all of the news.
I'm also getting here that there is another murder took place in Tobago.
All of the newspapers
This is
this
coming
morning, as their major headline, all of them carried that Curep temple desecrated.
Which I think should be something for our question.
They carried that as one of their front page stories, both the Newsday and the Daily Express, and it's also on the front page of the Guardian. But what you just said with Kamala Prasad says it's a sham. It's also on the front page, and all of them also carry the story of the Auditor General suing the state. So basically, those are all of the headlines on the daily newspapers, the hard copies.
Right. Okay.
Of
So
course, one of the major issues is of course, the Hayward's contract, because it expires next week, Tuesday, on the 14th of May. So that could be the subject of our question poll this morning.
That's a good question.
Would you support
extended?
Would you support
up the commissioners?
Yeah, would you support the commissioner's contract being extended by another year?
Yeah, that's a question.
I guess that will go to, correct me here, that would go to cabinet today, wouldn't it? If he's up next week.
Cabinet has 6 days to consider what they're going to do.
Right.
6 days, well, now 5.
You really think Dr. Rowley leave the country without the decision not being made already?
Well,
you really feel, Dr. Keith Rowley?
Well, when people leave the country now, Paul,
without the decision not being made already, or they'll call him on the phone. That's what you think?
When people leave the country, they're still in communication. You know, there's a bit
that, but you think he's gonna leave the country with that burning issue for them to call him to ask him what you think?
Yes.
That decision made already.
They could consult him via video.
To interrupt the man.
It's not a holiday.
It's an official visit.
That's what I'm saying, it's not a holiday.
You really feel the Prime Minister leave the country and say, well, are you coming and we're going to decide that one in Ghana?
Yes.
No.
We'll have a Zoom call or Microsoft Teams call on the issue, and we will. I want to hear everybody's point of view on what you think. That's plausible.
Right. So start dialing 222-8255, toll free North Americans, 866-525-1099 on WhatsApp, 3181021, and of course on Facebook and on YouTube. Would you support the Commissioner of Police, Earl Hayward Christopher's tenure to be extended for another year? Yes or no?
I'm going to sip my coffee here before I get in trouble.
All right. Good morning to you, Captain Ron. Hope all is well, locked on and listening. Dan Raj, yeah, got all those. So that's our poll this morning. Would you support COP, Earl Hayward Christopher's tenure be extended for another year?
Nobody ain't get to the pink phone yet.
Oh, jeez. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Good morning. Are you on the poll?
Yes.
What is the poll question? Because I called him blind this morning.
Would you support Commissioner of Police Earl Hayward Christopher's tenure being extended for another year?
Oh, hell no. Hell no. But, Steve, I wanted to tell you, you're right, but you're wrong this morning. But we'll talk about that in the next hour.
All right, no problem. Of course, we will be chatting with some folks from the Ministry of Health. All right. Black Pearl, good morning. No. Captain Ron, no. Val, not at all. Let's see. Ooh, a lot of votes coming through here. Let's see. Where's the top? Where's the top?
I think it starts with Ingrid.
Yeah, now saying that. Miss Ingrid says no. Boy Badesi says no. DL, hell no. Anthony Franco, no.
This chat ain't easy now. This chat talking about the policeman fat, yes. Wow.
Saw that. What's up to? Kenny in Harlem says, I say yes to the poll. Michael Robinson in Yokohama, Japan says no. Anne-Marie Augustin says no. Hector doing a show in no. Josie Richardson, no. Brent Hackshaw, no. Vianney Warwood, yes. Ish out in Malik, no. Julia S. Batiste, no. Esther Adams, no. Lester Craigwell, no. Cheryl Henry, I abstain. Thank Cheryl. Richard P. Knight, no. Ian Lee in Central London, yes, please. Erla. Anthony Atwell. Ooh. I lost Anthony Atwell. Where'd he go? No. Sherwin Kerr, no. Trinity in Boston. Morning, Trinity in Boston. No. Alistair Hart, no. Next. Richard Phillip, no. Mrs. R, yes. Wayne B, back in Covington, Georgia, no. CJ New York, no way. Royalty forever, no to the poll. All right. All those on Facebook and YouTube. Oh my goodness. Look at messages on WhatsApp. Let's go. I did Val, I did Ron, I did Black Pearl. Sankofa, no. DW, no. Cascade St. Anne's, no. Dre, morning Dre, I vote no. Out in Rio Claro.
The newspapers called me last week to ask me what I think. I said, oh, you want to put me in the front page in trouble now? No, I'm not answering that. I said, call the Police Service Commission, please. Don't call me.
Dan Rad says no. Trini Jam says hell no. All right, Trini Jam. Reginald Budd said no. Eve out in Sugargonas. No. What says you, caller?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Zena.
Good morning, mi amor. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien. ¿Y tú?
Muy bien. Muy bien ahora.
My answer is yes. Sure. Give her another chance.
All right. Thank you, Zena. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Kansas City. My answer is yes.
Kansas City. Grandy in Kansas City. Thank you so much.
That's correct, Steve.
All righty, buddy. Take care.
Where you stopped in the comment section.
We started with Mogain. CMJ says my answer is no, out from Baghdad. Thank you so much, CMJ. Mogains, where are you? Hell no. Lorraine says, okay. CPT Singh, yes. Adrian Cotto, yes. Taral Guevara, yes. Dave Gosign, yes. Would you support the Commissioner of Police, Erla Haywood Christopher's tenure being extended for another year? Yes or no? Oscar Daniel, yes.
What I think, you will find out next week.
Did you say David Gosign?
Yep, Dave Gosign, yep. Oscar Daniel too.
Hector?
Yep. Well, Hector didn't.
Our poll this morning, we have like a couple of minutes left. Would you support Commissioner of Police Erla Haywood Christopher's tenure being extended for another year? That's our poll this morning. What do you think? She's the current Commissioner of Police. They have advertised for a new Commissioner of Police, so there would be a recruiting period. But do you think Erla Haywood Christopher's tenure comes to an end, at least the extension comes to an end next week, Tuesday, the 14th of May? Do you think it should be extended by another year? That's our poll this morning. We want to know what you think. Come on, you know you have an opinion. 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. People watching us on the streams or listening to us on the streams, you can send it by the messaging portals there. And if you're watching us on television, like David Wears, who says he's watching us on Channel 11.
Yeah. Morning, David.
Good morning, David. You can also vote via WhatsApp at 868-318-1021.
All right. Sexy San Fernando says no. Gloria Gray says yes. Fareed Ali, no. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Trevor in Georgia. No
Hi,
to the
Trevor.
vote. Thank you.
I didn't get your vote, sorry.
No.
No. Thank you.
No.
Slick Money Grip just says yes. And Andre says no.
I see the football stars have started arriving for the big match tomorrow. I think I might run support the
I don't know if
team.
you have any boots on WhatsApp, Steve.
Let me check that now. I have Brian from St. Joseph. Good morning, Brian says no. All right. Any more here? You got Andre saying no, Slick Money Grip saying yes, Gloria Gray saying yes.
Yeah, I got all of those already.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, let's get into our major news right now. All right. Of course, Evie is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
A child seen in a video being choked by a woman has been placed in the care of relatives. The Attorney General gives details relating to the request from the Auditor General on the independent legal advice. Auditor General Jaiwanti Ramdas alleges that Finance Minister Colin Imbert tried to bully and intimidate her, and Ministry of Finance defends money spent amid claims $386 million has gone missing. Details in a moment. I'm Avril Sandel Bab. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Good morning. The Children's Authority says the child seen in a video being choked by a woman has been placed in the care of relatives. It says the collaborative efforts of the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, the Child Protection Unit of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and concerned citizens have led to locating a child who was seen in a video being choked by a woman. Sheldon Cyrus, Director and Chief Executive Officer of the authority, said the child would be placed in the care of suitable and responsible relatives, and the authority would monitor the child's placement to ensure the child's needs are being met. Mr. Cyrus added that the collaboration between the authority and the police is just one example of the National Interagency Protocol for Child Abuse Prevention and Management at Work. The public is being reminded to report all incidents of child abuse to the police at 999 or the authority at 996. The Office of the Attorney General and Legal Affairs is willing to pay what has been described as reasonable fees incurred by the Auditor General for the obtaining of independent legal advice as it relates to a letter dated April 17th this year on whether she is required to consider the amended statements in light of the provisions granted in the Exchequer and Audit Act. Reginald Amor said he responded to the Auditor General's request in correspondence sent on April 19th. At a news briefing on Wednesday, the Attorney General read some of the contents of the letter he sent to the Auditor General, which he said was specific and confined to the request made. He said reports there was a refusal on his part to do so were erroneous and intended to mislead. The AG also outlined the process which will be used as it relates to the payment of the legal bill in this matter.
It would be premature for me to establish a ceiling. One would have to look at the work that if a bill were to be sent to me, one would have to look at the work that is done. There is a process, for instance, in the High Court that is normally attended to by registrars of the High Court. It's called taxing the cost. You look at the work that is done, you look at the time output, and you assess what is reasonable against the work done, time output, complexity of matters. So it would be entirely premature of me to place a ceiling before a bill is submitted to me.
He made the revelation at a news briefing held on Wednesday. Auditor General Jaiwanti Ramdas has alleged that Finance Minister Colin Imbert tried to bully and intimidate her to change her 2023 audit report and that he crossed the line in doing so. She said further that the attacks against her in the Parliament by both Imbert and Attorney General Reginald Armour on April 26th caused her great humiliation and distress, so much so that she had to abandon her errands in the public domain and retreat to her home. Ramdas has commenced legal action against the AG, seeking, among other things, that she has the right to retain a legal representative to defend herself on issues that have arisen pertaining to the preparation and laying of the Auditor General's Report 2023 in Parliament. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. False is how the Ministry of Finance has described allegations from the opposition that $386 million has gone missing in the Ministry of Finance. The opposition leader made the claims while speaking at the UNC Monday night cottage meeting held at the Brazil High School. Member of Parliament for Superior also called for an explanation of monies leaving Trinidad and Tobago, which she claimed to be in the amount of $231 million. This is in connection with expenses relating to international financial institutions, as well as funding for incentives to farmers.
Payments are as follows. Expenses in connection with international financial institutions, over $231 million. They can't show no paper. They can't show no evidence. They have something called a fiscal incentive program for farmers. They spent $77.3 million on that. To whom were they paid? By whom was it paid?
However, the acting Prime Minister said the public is being misled on this matter and sought to clear the issue. Minister Imbert said the Auditor General report for last year has not yet been laid in the Parliament and is not a public document. The allegations, he said, are false, misleading, and scandalous. In response, Minister Imbert explained the country's obligations to the Andean Development Bank, in which contributions were made last year, as well as the fiscal incentives for farmers, which have been ongoing for many years.
We are a full member of the Andean Development Bank, which is CAF. The acronym is CAF. And we have agreed to a capital increase for that bank. And as a result, Trinidad and Tobago was required to make capital contributions to CAF in fiscal 2023. So that is what the expenses in connections with international financial institutions is. With respect to fiscal incentive programs for farmers, that's been going on for years.
Speaking at this week's virtual news briefing, Minister Imbert said all money spent by the ministry can be accounted for.
When a statement is made that documents are not provided, it does not mean that evidence of the payments was not provided. What may not have been provided, things like cabinet minutes to support the authority for the payment. Sometimes the documents are actually being provided, and there is therefore a disagreement between the officials and the Auditor General's department. This is all quite routine and quite standard, but every single cent that was spent by the Ministry of Finance can be accounted for.
Well, finally, here's weather news for the period today until midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, mostly dull, hazy, and breezy at times with a low chance of the brief isolated shower. Nighttime, mostly fair and hazy despite isolated early morning showers. A significant concentration of Saharan dust is present in the atmosphere. So once again, persons who are sensitive to these changes in air quality are being strongly advised to exercise the necessary precautions. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 34 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 33 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, it's 28 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 29 at Crown Point. Recapping your headlines at 7 o'clock, child seen in a video being choked by a woman has been placed in the care of relatives. The Attorney General gives details relating to the request from the Auditor General on the independent legal advice. Auditor General Jaiwanti Ramdas alleges that Finance Minister Colm Imbert tried to bully and intimidate her, and Ministry of Finance defends money spent amid claims $386 million has gone missing. I'm Avril Sindhilbab. That was News 2, 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon today and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
All right, thank you, Evie. Of course, your 7 o'clock newscast was brought to you by Genesco Appliances.
Welcome to Genesco Appliances, your trusted partner in Trinidad and Tobago for 25 years. Experience innovation with our inverted technologies refrigerators designed to slash your electricity bills. Discover the versatility of our dual-function chest freezers, switchable between refrigeration and freezer mode, available in 5 and 7 cubic feet. Don't miss our unbeatable offer on the 13-kilogram twin tub washers, and for the aspiring chefs, 30-inch 5-burner gas stove with a built-in rotisserie oven awaits. This special won't last. Find us on FB and IG or call 351-7777. That's 351-7777. Genesco Appliances are available nationwide. Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right, thank you, Evie. And thank you so much, Genesco Appliances, for powering our 7 o'clock major news. You can join Avi again at 8 o'clock for our news brief. All right. Looking at traffic, where you think you're going to get traffic, you will get traffic this morning, especially east-west corridor. You're going to get traffic from Freeport to Sugarguanas, and then from Chin Chin Road to Ibis Gardens and the southern main road. That is heavy. All right. Valencia stretch by Santa Rosa, Trin City, heading up Port of Spain, Maraval, they all got traffic. Warm one already. 28 at Piarco, 29 at Crown Point. All right, let's check to see if we have any more votes. I think I have Jaron saying no to the poll, right? And let's see. Richard Duku said no. All right. And that said Rich. Okay. He's not back yet.
The buck, he's taking care of the buck.
Going back with the buck. Got to feed that buck, keep that buck happy.
Yeah, this is breakfast time for the buck, so.
Yeah. So
I think the decision regarding the commissioner of police has already been made.
Yeah, I think it's already been made.
It'll just be announced next week.
Yeah. Trini B says no. I don't know, but Richard's not there. But thank you, Trini B. Or Bree. Trini Bree. Right. Okay. Oh, okay. That Andre, that's for you, Paul. No comment on that, Paul, from Andre.
I think you'll find out next week.
Oh gosh. Leak it now.
A leak? I don't know.
Leak it.
Got no such information. Let's just say if Mrs. Harewood Christopher were going to be replaced, we'd have had names being bandied about already.
That's why I also thought about that.
So I don't know. When is the Prime Minister due back?
No clue. Well, he went to London and then he's going.
I think it's a week-long stay left on Tuesday. So when Richard said the 14th?
Yeah, the 14th is
Tuesday coming. So
yeah.
They have a sitting of Parliament tomorrow, of the House of Representatives tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So we see if any information comes out of that sitting. But I think it's already a fait accompli, and it's just a matter of making the announcement. I think given the utterances of both the Prime Minister and the Minister of National Security in the past couple of months, pledging their support for Mrs. Harewood Christopher, I think that one can expect no changes in the status quo. Isn't that a diplomatic answer?
Very much so. That is as diplomatic as you can get. Of course, next week we have a couple of guests lined up. I think we have one for Monday already. We'll have David West on as well next week. And we'll also have Professor Aura on next week as well to talk about the AstraZeneca vaccine.
Yes, AstraZeneca, parent company, has put out a statement as at yesterday or the day before yesterday. Yesterday.
I think it's yesterday.
That they are discontinuing use and pulling all AstraZeneca vaccines off the shelves from use globally. Effective immediately, of course, putting on huge social media commentary. And they said the vaccine has been linked in some minute cases, as they describe it, to blood clots and some deaths.
Yeah, I did reach out to Professor Aura yesterday, and only last night he responded. He's out of the country and he would be in a seminar at this time. But he told me when he's coming back, and he promised that he'll come on the program right after to discuss that.
So can I give the poll results?
Oh no,
you're ready?
You're ready for it now?
Yeah,
You bought their food?
I didn't know the news was so short. Sorry.
No, the news was
The
as
news was the
average
same length as every other day.
Same length.
So anyway, our poll this morning was.
Did you get Trinity B, Bree saying no?
I could add it.
And did you hear me when I said Sexy San Fernando said no?
Okay, I can add it.
All right.
Right, so our poll this morning was, would you support Commissioner of Police Earl Hayward Christopher's tenure being extended for another year? We had 56 people voting in the allotted time. Of the 56 people that voted, 44 of you said no, you do not support her tenure being extended for another year. 12 of you said yes. You would support.
Wendell just added a yes, so 13 said yes.
Who just added a yes? Oh, Andre.
Andre.
Yes.
Right. So that'll make it 57. So 13 people said yes, they would support her being extended for another year. And 44 said no. So, I mean, a large percentage.
What's his name? Is it Lucas? His name was put up a couple months ago. And the whole government abstained. You ain't see nothing. You're not, right? Okay. And Adrian and Roberts, 2 yes. Okay, are we giving them a chance?
Bobby says no.
The phone lines are open. You can call now.
I was trying to get Dr. Ramlachan, but I don't know what's going on here.
222-TALK, 222-8255.
Yeah, we can open up the lines at this point. 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, toll free, 866-525-1099. You can call at this point and we get interactive with you concerning the main issues. Of course, there were two main issues we discussed this morning. Well, there were several issues we discussed this morning.
Three. We discussed the Auditor General versus everybody. Let's say the government. Because the Attorney General
with the police officers and the cutlass.
Police officer with the cutlass.
And
and of course, Commissioner of Police Hayward Christopher and the desecration of the temple in Curepe.
Yeah. The desecration of the Hindu temple, yes.
Yeah. It's on Knoll Street in Curepe. I know that temple. We have some calls coming through, so let's grab them. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Buenos días. ¿Cómo estás, Mia?
No, this is not Zina.
I know it's not Zina, so I can't talk Spanish to you too. I know it's not Zina.
No.
Yeah, you're stopping in his tracks.
I can't say buenos días to you too.
No, you're stopping him in his tracks. You're very good. You're stopping him in his tracks.
Yes.
You're not Zina 2. You're not Zina number 2. You're going down that road.
I always tell all you, don't call names, you go get in trouble. Just say honey.
That's why I said buenos días, mi amor.
Yeah. Richard, I'm glad you are there. I want to find out something. Who is the DPP's boss? Does he have a boss? Or does he operate, well, like he could just do whatever? And
you are his boss.
The Chief Justice, who does he answer to? Because right now is everybody playing shaggy and saying it wasn't me. The DPP saying he didn't get some combutal file or whatever, and the judiciary is saying yes, the Senate. What the hell is going on? I mean, this is the reason why, and Richard, I asked, but you wasn't there. Why? What is the reason a case takes 10 years before it could go to trial? I don't understand it. See, I want you to help us this morning. What caused a case? Because, I mean, the DPP came out and he finally spoke and said something about some combutal file didn't come to him, and they bring it, the Senate digital on some flash drive, and he couldn't use it because they would have thrown the case with the Dana Sitahal. What the hell going on? I can't.
All right. Thank you, Diego.
That's why I told you all I was glad my mother was spared this drag out of a case can start. I'm glad they never found the killers of my brother. You all have a blessed day.
Well, the DPP is a constitutionally independent position, and the Chief Justice, of course, is the Chief Justice. He's appointed, I think, with the, how was the Chief Justice appointed? I think the Prime Minister and the opposition are involved together with the Judicial and Legal Services Commission. I'm not sure, I can't remember off the top of my head. But I believe they have some part to play.
But Richard, you know what the heart of the
but
question
the DPP is certainly constitutionally independent.
Right, and we respect that. But you know what the heart of the question goes to, and this is not related to this particular DPP or this particular Chief Justice. I think the question goes to the heart of who are they accountable for performance or non-performance.
Well, there would be, how should I say it? There would be,
you see how careful you have to be?
There would be constitutional provisions for the removal in office of certain officers.
I'm not going as far as removal.
But if you're going for accountability
I'm talking about accountability and performance or non-performance, and that's what the heart.
The nature of certain positions is that accountability, you may not be accountable to anyone. And let's look at that.
And that's the question.
You may not be accountable to anyone in that sort of way that you're referencing, like you're getting a performance appraisal. Because the independence of the position and you ascending to the post meant you would have gone through the rigors of getting to that post.
But that don't mean that the office holder is not this one or the one may not be non-performing.
Well, you will always have friction between independent holders, or can have friction between independent holders and sometimes the political directorate. I'll give you another example. For example, the Supreme Court in the United States, they are appointed for life. So even if you are a Supreme Court and you are non-performing, they cannot remove you. It has to be that you have done. It's very difficult to remove you, if at all.
If at all,
you would have to retire.
But you understand the question, though. Although we respect the independence of the office, that and someone has gone through a particular level of rigor to be appointed through a very, very clearly outlined position. That what does it mean for the population? And I'm not talking about this DPP or this Chief Justice. That no one holding that office seems to be able to, unless it is something so egregious that it warrants some triggering whatever section of the Constitution for removal, or whether it's the GNSC saying, well, the person performing. What are the benchmarks for performance or non-performance, and what is the mechanism to correct it?
Well, because you're constitutionally independent, there's very little to answer the question simply. And that's why the rigor to get you in the position is what holds, and the professionalism of the people who hold those positions. So it would be, so for example, the DPP, in his defense, because he has appeared before JSCs.
He has.
And JSCs are where you can interrogate those issues. And the
DPP, he has no obligation to appear.
I know, but he does appear.
He does. He's really graciously appeared and answered questions. I think, in particular, the controversy at that time was about the building that was rented that was not occupied. So he has graciously appeared. But I'm talking about in an official capacity. There's no mechanism, as you said, right, to hold any of the office holders accountable for performance. And as I said, I'm not talking about this particular DPP or this particular Chief Justice. And I'm not encroaching in any way on the independence of the office. I think that is the heart of where the cause question went to.
Yeah, but within the framework of the Constitution, Paul, constitutionally independent positions are just that.
I know
they are constitutionally independent, so it means they have little accountability because of their independence. That's what protects them. So wanting it like a regular position to have, like you doing a performance appraisal on them does not hold because of the nature of the position. So you have to understand how independent you want those positions to be and what is the rigor of the process to get somebody in that position, because once the person is in the position, they're in the position. So what you have to look at is your mechanism and your record for somebody being appointed in the post. Is that going to yield you the best candidate? That's what
Gentlemen, we have a lot of calls
but,
coming
but you
through.
can't have the candidate there and then suddenly say, but I want to control you. That's not how it works.
We never said control.
But it tantamount comes to that.
So asking if your performance is control?
It can lead to that.
To the phone, Steve.
Good morning.
Hey, morning, Richard.
Morning.
Richard, Steve, everybody, morning.
Morning.
That fiasco, what going on between the DPP and this one, and what going on with the Auditor General, and what going on with the all them things what we call power struggle. Power struggle, always seeing it like this one can't talk to that one, and that one can't talk to that one, and which one answer that one, that thing. All I want is that bacchanal going on inside the yes, boy. Them people are serious about what they're doing there, you know. None of them. No, I want to tell the public, the licensing office, them was on the TV last week, and they say they have no law now to charge people for tint. I reading this morning, they passed the law earlier, so they could charge you $2,000 for tinted. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They passed the law. I don't know if people know that because people was glad and say they can't charge them for nothing. They passed the law sometime last week, I think. But $2,000.
When you say they passed the law, what does that mean? The law was proclaimed, or
that's a bit confusing to me. What you're saying there, Mr. Patrick. I thought the law was always there.
They went to the parliament and they passed that law. It's on the loop. It's on the loop news. You will see all the thing on the loop news.
Okay.
Right?
I will check it out. I don't understand what it means because I didn't see that sitting in the parliament or that bill being debated or a bill related to that being debated.
Yeah.
I just wanted to intercede as we continue to take calls that well, you all know that theater is on next week Friday and Saturday at Sapa with Love is a Walk. But what I wanted to stress is that the box office for Sapa opens on Monday because people have been asking when is the box office opening at Sapa itself. It opens from Monday morning, bright and early from 12 noon to 6 p.m. So the box office at Sapa opens from Monday, but ticket outlets already have tickets and K Squared in Gulf City, C3 Center, and Brentwood Mall. K Squared Fashions in those three areas, C3 Center, Gulf City, and Brentwood Mall, all have tickets, as well as Friends of Marabella by the roundabout. So you can get your tickets there now for people who are asking. Love is a walk.
Let's put down nothing. Explain to me what you're doing here. Explain to me what you're doing here. In my house. Explain. No. Why you don't want to say what you're doing here?
No, tell you.
Shut up. I'll mash up all I want to wear there. It's in the yard. It's in the yard.
You're under arrest, you're not obliged.
I'm not under arrest. Come and arrest me. Come.
Put down the blade.
No, come and arrest me.
Put down the blade.
Well, come take it.
And that coming to take the blade, you need to put down the blade.
Or else what?
Else we are not for now. I don't want to have no cause for the shooting. You know that?
Go, you can go ahead and shoot me, you know.
I feel it's the same incident, you know, Paul.
It seems so, because his reference, I will mash up yours also.
Yeah. The more I listen to it within that context of the cars being damaged in Barrackpore, I think it was. So it seems as if it's the same incident and if it is, then the police did eventually shoot.
Right, somebody just sent, you see, something leaked to my mailbox again from two sources. Thank you, Jay, and thank you, Jay. Two different J's. Mr. Patrick was right. Legal notice number 82, the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Act, Chapter 4850, order made by the Minister under Section 88D of the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Act and subject to the negative resolution of Parliament. 9th Schedule, Motor Vehicle Road Traffic Act, Part 4, failure to comply with the permissible visible light transmissions of material in windscreen and window of motor vehicle. $2,000. Failure to maintain windscreen or window free from scratches, laminated glazing, or glass that shows discoloration material of of any other bubbling other defects, $450. Installing unauthorized curtains, screens, or other devices on motor vehicles, $750. Failure to have exemption certificate in a motor vehicle and failure to produce an exemption certificate upon request by a constable in uniform, $1,000. Signed the 26th day of April, 2024. Rohan Sinanan, Minister of Works. So Mr. Patrick was absolutely right. Tint will be applied. Excessive tint or tint that does not meet the requirements, you may be ticketed and have to pay a fine.
You don't get the merit points.
Well, no, I'm seeing 3, 2 at the end, but I'm not seeing the top of the thing. So maybe the first one is 3 demerit points, the 750 is 2 demerit points, if I'm interpreting correctly, and the 1,000 is 2 demerit if I'm interpreting it correctly. Because I'm not seeing the top of the column and what it describes, but I'm seeing a 3 and a 2 next to some of them.
Yeah, I saw that too. All right, let's grab some more calls here. Okay. All right, so 222-8255, toll-free North Americans, 866-525-1099. All right, that's our numbers directly into our studio.
Thank you for those, but that's not leak, it's public information. We can't call that leak, but thank you for the dissemination of the information, guys. And both of them come the same time, yes. Again, the trusty pink phone, not the green one.
Good morning.
Good morning, Paul, Steve, Richard.
Good morning.
First of all, I want to, I might be a little long this morning, so I hope
No, it can be a bit long. All
you
my
mean
lines.
compared to other mornings?
You get straight to the point.
You mean it's short some mornings? That what you're suggesting or implying?
Anyway, Paul, Steve, you are right this morning with your analysis of what you see on the range, where the stance for a ready position would look different to what the stance the police had. However, as you would see on the range, one foot will be forward and the other, the weapon will be slightly forward and stuff like that. That would be the ready position on a range. So you're not wrong with what you said there. However, in that situation that the police was in, he was not wrong to have his weapon in his hand, and that can also be considered a ready position where you don't have to draw from your holster. The weapon was pointed downwards, which is called in weapon safety handling, a safe direction. You cannot draw your weapon and point it at someone. Only time you point it at someone is when you intend to shoot it. You don't point to intimidate or to threaten. So the police was not doing anything wrong. But I feel we missed the mark with this video, right? The topic that should be had with this video is why is the only source of defense for the police a firearm? I believe this situation happened in Pina or somewhere down south of Carolina.
How we miss the topic? We talk about tasers this morning. How we miss the topic?
Well, I as I said, when I called earlier on, I was calling blind, so I did not hear a lot of the program this morning. So I probably missed that, so I apologize. But these police...
You didn't have to see, you could have hear.
I was not on my radio, Paul. Oh, God, man. You like to care? I'll tell you about this narcissistic way I have about you, Anyway.
Yeah, go ahead, quickly. I have a lot of calls.
These police
quickly when
a taser, much less to be trained with a taser. The problem the conversation that we need to have is why do we have 8,000 police in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and 500 tasers in the police service and 200.
Because they don't all need to be out in dangerous situations. I feel you want to be commissioner of police. You have at your bank of a commissioner of police that you don't want to have we need to get to the place, Paul, that every single police that leaves the police station has a body spray, has a pepper spray, a body spray. Where's a body spray nemesis?
I corrected myself, Paul, if you would listen. Have a body cam, have a pepper spray, and if possible, have a taser. We need to aspire to that, and we need to work towards that. That we don't kill people clearly with mental issues or have a death wish to be killed by cop. The police has alternative ways of dealing with these kind of situations. Right?
Yeah.
That is what we need to do. The other conversation that we need to have, and Paul just glazed over it, I wonder if the government recognizes the power they now give to police officers by now being, they're now given the authority to, if you have a scratch on your tint, or your tint now start to bubble, they can now charge you $450. So the possibility to further victimize you, oh, you're playing here once again, talk, look here, scratching your tint, $450, 3 demerit points. You understand? These are the conversations that we need to be having.
Nemesis.
Yes, Paul?
She gone. Let it go now.
All right.
That policeman that horn you really hurt you, boy. Good.
But I agree with Lincoln that all police officers, once you're out on the field, once you're responding to calls, should be equipped with tasers and non-lethal forms of dealing with citizens. And in addition, of course, to their firearm, but they should all have that. There shouldn't be, okay, we have 6,000 that we know will be on the field from time to time. Once you go in, you should have a kit, and you put on your kit. And your kit should be a body cam, your spray, if you have a spray, your taser, and your gun. That's what it should be.
And the Auditor General should agree with and the Attorney General should get along, and the Prime Minister and the opposition leader should get along.
Those are things that are achievable. Those are things that I assume it's an issue of cost and training. But
let's grab this call, gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning. I wanted to take the opportunity to congratulate, I believe it's Sharon Hedney and also Super Paul for, discussion and raising the points about the Attorney General and also the Chief Justice. Paul, I think that it is time the country decides if, as Richard says, we want a DPP as an independent position, right, to continue. Something has to be wrong. We cannot continue as a country like that. And Paul, I would love you to use your good office to raise these issues in the Senate.
No.
Raise it in the Senate so that people could debate this and decide whether
I can't decide what is debated or not debated, sir.
No, you have private motion there as well. You could do that. You have to use.
It's not my private motion there alone, it's shared among everybody on the
I understand that.
Independent opposition
you are
benches.
influential. We need to have a voice in the Senate. We need to have somebody saying, is this what we want? Maybe that's what we wanted.
The powers you think I have, sir.
Well, you're named Super Paul, but that's not the point. We need to have this discussion as a nation, right? And Richard, I disagree with your parallel with the Supreme Court. It's not quite the same in the United States. All right, we're talking DPP.
No, but I didn't say it was the same thing, I was just giving an example.
No, let me finish what I'm saying. I'm saying the Supreme is the final court of adjudication in the United States. That is correct. You are absolutely correct. But it's not the same to parallel that.
And the difference of them, it's 5 of them? How much? 5 of them?
No, it's
nine.
Nine
now. So if 1 or 2 lapse in, it have people to make up.
Right. And I live in the United States actually, and I can tell you that the Supreme Court, the actual confidence in the Supreme Court is now at its lowest. And there's a good reason for it. It's a very good reason for it. But I'm talking about Trinidad, and I'm saying we need as a country to have a discussion about the DPP being an independent position. Right? And
Why-
that's
why-
American.
Can I ask you
And
some
because
clarity? But you don't have
reason.
you have an issue with it being independent.
Yeah,
Why?
but let me contextualize it. When I
Because
gave that example,
I believe everybody should be accountable to someone.
But accountable may not be
say
to someone. And let me just clarify. My proposition was in no way intended to interfere with the independence of the office of the DPP, because I think that independence is critical to the office holder carrying out his or her duty fearlessly and without favor. So that is not my admonition. My question was about whether or not any particular holder of the office, not particularly this DPP or this Chief Justice, is accountable for performance in some mechanism.
Correct. That is what I'm saying. Because let me ask you something else. Let me put this in the mix. In all other offices in the country, in all other businesses, right? When people are promoted, it's based upon assessment. Who is assessing the DPP? Who? That is true. And I'm not, and you're right, Rich. I just want to make this absolutely careful. We are not talking about this DPP.
We're talking about principle here.
Or anybody, we're talking about the position. How do we know that the position of the DPP is fulfilling the needs of the country? How do we know that? We just can't have this thing. I think we need to wake up Ellis Clark and Martino and all of those who were involved in the framers of the Constitution, because it was a mistake they made.
No, I don't think so. I think as a country
I don't
think so. I think as a country
I don't know that it's a mistake. I think
I think it's a mistake.
You can have independent and constitutionally independent positions that are answerable to no one. The issue has to be and that's the example that I was bringing up with the Supreme Court, which apparently you missed. The issue was not that it's the issue was not exactly that it's an exact mirror. The issue was that of independence, and so that in a U.S. context, the Supreme Court judges are appointed for life, and they did it that way so that they're beyond anybody
interference,
advocating or saying what you need to do. The same thing holds to constitutionally independent positions. The DPP is a constitutionally independent position, answerable to no one in that way. Well, he's answerable to the court. The court will always have review of decisions of any person who's holding a position and what decisions they have made. So ultimately, the court is the one that can hold you accountable for your actions. But it's a constitutionally independent position, and the issue has to be not on the independence of the position. The issue has to be, how does that person get into that position?
Let me give you an example.
Let me
give you an example.
And are you satisfied with the process of the person getting into that position?
Let me give you an example of a possible recourse. You know what I love about the American system? You see those Senate Judiciary Committee positions that are used to appoint significant office holders, and also if issues come up to hold them accountable. I love that system.
Yes. Right. And that's the rigor of their system. Even Supreme Court judges have to go through that.
Yeah. I love that.
That's the rigor of, and that's what I'm saying. The issue is really not that the DPP's position should not be independent. The issue is the process of how you get to be DPP. Is that
right? Well,
are you satisfied with that?
Let me add to that. So suppose, all right. So your contention is that a process or mechanism for appointing the person should be rigorous, right? What happens if, because human beings are dynamic creatures, what happens if an office holder, for whatever reason, becomes incompetent during the course of his or her tenure and starts to act efficiently?
And goes rogue.
Then it goes.
But not even goes rogue. Not even goes rogue. Because that's
why you have a court. That's why you have a court system.
I'm talking about, for whatever reason, starts to operate below the benchmark of performance that affects the entire criminal justice system. What happens then?
We have no recourse.
All right.
As a country, we have no recourse at this point in time, and we need to address it. And the
And it
politicians
may be a systemic issue. It may not be the person, because as a country evolves, different issues and different challenges arise that may not have been contemplated when the original construct was formed.
Yeah.
But I like the discussion.
There is a
thank you, caller.
Just
All
like
right.
there's a process for removing a judge, where the president sets up a tribunal under section, I can't remember what, I think it's section 137. If you're looking at the DPP, I'm not so sure if there is a constitutional provision similar for judges, but that's how you would hold people accountable if it is that there was some sort of malfeasance that
but I'm not
we got to wrap up here. Yeah. All right. Okay. We're going to get into an interview right now, all courtesy the Ministry of Health.
Trinidad and Tobago, get ready as we move towards a healthy lifestyle change. The Ministry of Health will be conducting a national health survey called the STEP Survey 2024 to gather information from households across Trinidad and Tobago on lifestyle practices that impact your health. Staff conducting the interview will visit your home with a Ministry of Health ID and clothing with ministry branding. All information collected will be kept confidential. So support us today as we take steps to improving the health of all. The STEP Survey 2024. Visit the Ministry of Health's website and social media pages for more information. This message brought to you by the Ministry of Health.
All right. And speaking of Ministry of Health, let me just turn the camera around so you can see this lovely lady. There we go. There she is. I'm moving around here. All right. In the studio, I normally don't get in studio guests. We do have Dr. Maria Clapperton. So good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am good, thank you.
All right. Of course, we do have Paul Richards and Richard Ragoobarsingh, and we are going to talk about this STEPS risk factors survey, correct?
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
All right,
Good morning, Dr. Clapperton. Thank you for joining us this morning. Is she hearing me, Steve?
Oh,
I think she may need headphones, or you need to turn the monitor up. Are you
All
hearing
right,
me
go
now? Dr. Clapperton?
Good morning.
Good morning. You hear me now?
Yes.
Are you hearing me now, Dr. Clapperton?
Yes, she is.
Well, she's
Yeah,
not answering.
we hear
Are you
you,
hearing
right.
me, Dr. Clapperton?
It's very soft.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining us this morning. Dr. Clapperton is the Director of Non-Communicable Diseases Unit at the Ministry of Health. We appreciate you being with us this morning. First of all, what is the STEPS survey about with the Ministry of Health?
So the STEP survey, we refer to it as STEPS for short, is the WHO stepwise approach to NCD risk factor surveillance. So it is a study or survey conducted at a national level to assess the risk factors of NCDs in our population. Behavioral practices such as dietary habits, levels of physical activity, and use of tobacco and alcohol are some of the things that are looked at when conducting this survey, in addition to taking some physical measurements as well. So this survey was conducted in 2011 and reported on in 2012. So this exercise in 2024 is a means to update this information so that we can monitor and trend these risk factors in our population.
Now, it's interesting. You are the Director of Non-Communicable Diseases, and Minister de-escalation has been very strong in his advocacy for diet and lifestyle issues related to non-communicable diseases in Trinidad and Tobago, because they really are wreaking havoc with the health of the population and, of course, the cost to remediate them. How important is this survey in terms of gathering the data in these metrics?
So a survey such as this is very helpful in terms of letting us know where we are with non-communicable diseases so that we can better plan and direct our efforts so that we can increase the impact on some of the programs that we intend to focus. And it guides us on where exactly we need to go. So it is a means to guide policy and practice moving forward.
Now, how will the survey be conducted in a practical sense?
So it's a household survey, and we have several field workers, and they go to randomly select participants. We have support of members from the CSO in the field exercise or data collection exercise. And a participant is randomly selected. They must be within the ages of 18 to 69 and willing to cooperate with us.
That means Richard is out.
And there are 3 steps, basically. So step 1 is the administration of a questionnaire. So we just ask for you to bear with us and answer a few questions about lifestyle practices. And then step 2 would be taking some of the basic measurements such as height, weight, blood pressure, and so forth. And step 3, where we would schedule a repeat visit because participants should be fasted for this, we take a blood sugar and a cholesterol reading.
How are a participant selected though? Is it just random?
It is random, but there's actually so the information is entered into a tablet, so it is digitized, and the selection is used with a random generator that's on the tablet to select a household.
Now, I think SIV is a great idea because we always need to scan and collect accurate contemporary data. But we are in an environment where people are very worried about crime. How are we mitigating unscrupulous people trying to take advantage of this national survey? How should the public know this is a bona fide person from the Ministry of Health who can and should be let into your space to conduct this survey as opposed to someone who may be intent on nefarious activity?
Yes, so there are a few measures that would have been put in place, starting with the field workers themselves being properly identified. So these persons will have Ministry of Health IDs with them, ID cards, in addition to clothing, where they have Ministry of Health markings on this attire as well. And should you have any questions, usually they present the necessary documents as well. So there are forms and letters that they would come that they can show you that they are truly conducting the STEP survey. And there's also a contact number that is on the Ministry of Health website that you can call to verify if this person is definitely one of our, what we call enumerators that's on the field. The other thing that person should note is that this is a face-to-face, in-person exercise. So at no point in time, anyone should call, message, text, or any other means any member of the population to collect this information. It is a face-to-face interview.
In person, face-to-face?
In person, yes.
How long does the survey take place, duration?
It could be 30 to 45 minutes based on the rate of response from the respondent as it relates to some of the questions.
What's the kind of pool in terms of numbers that the Ministry of Health is targeting? Are you going for 1,000, 10,000? What kind of range are you looking at?
Yes. So a sample size was calculated, and for this survey in 2024, the calculated sample size is 5,404. So we have an ambitious sample size of 5,404. And just to put some context, in 2011, when this survey was conducted, the sample size was 3,020. So we do have an ambitious sample size, and we're really hoping for the cooperation of members of our population so that we can meet that target. Yeah.
What's the target in terms of how long the ministry expects this exercise to take?
So this is actually one phase. So there would have been preparation and planning before we went out into this data collection phase. And then subsequent to that would be analysis and reporting. So in this phase of data collection, we anticipate at least 2 to 3 months in this phase.
Now, the public is, people are very always cagey with the medical information, this and that, the diet, the lifestyle information. How, for the members of the general public looking on, how important is this? How will it impact the public positively in the long run?
So just to be clear, this information would be collected in the strictest confidence, and also it would be de-identified. The information will be anonymized when it is being analyzed. So your personal information is not what we're after, right? The focus would be on the responses to the questions in the questionnaire, which focus on simple things like your intake of fruits and vegetables in your daily consumption, your intake of water, what your levels of physical activity are like, and how often you move. And then we ask things in relation to other habits, such as tobacco consumption and alcohol use. So they are targeted questions in these areas, and at no point in time they are to collect your personal information.
What's the age group again?
18 to 69 years of age.
Is there a particular reason that the ministry decided to exclude the younger demographics, since we are seeing more and more juvenile diabetes and NCDs in minors?
So that's interesting. So in the 2011 iteration of the STEP survey, the target age range was 15 to 64. And we decided in this, actually the template from the Pan American Health Organization gave that range of 18 to 69, which is focusing mainly on the adult population who would be at greater risk. We do recognize that the younger population as well, but in terms of lifestyle practices, it would be, we'd be looking more so at the adult population, as the onset of these non-communicable diseases at a younger age are likely to be due to genetic predispositions or congenital conditions.
And is Trinidad and Tobago the 5,000 sample, or just over 5,000 samples across both islands?
Yes, so this is Trinidad and Tobago. We'll be looking at 15 municipalities, 14 in Trinidad and 1 in Tobago.
And is there, I guess, between office hours, between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., one can expect a visit?
Ideally, we try to stick to office hours between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., but this is going from Monday to Sunday, as we the surveyors are actually going to homes, so we would like to actually be when people are at home. So they may, so this is why they will come on Saturday, they may come on a Sunday, and in some instances, they may be out past 4 o'clock to meet and engage with persons when they are at home.
Now, you mentioned earlier there may be some repeat visits scheduled if persons may not have fasted because the information is in a fasting status. Could you just go over that again for clarity, please?
Sorry?
Could you just go over that?
Oh, okay. So the step 3 part of it is where what we call the dry chemistry method. So we would like to collect a finger stick sample so that we can analyze the blood glucose levels and the blood cholesterol levels. And it is best for us to collect this information on a fasted state so that we can better analyze. So that there aren't confounders, like, for example, when your last meal was taken, so that we get skewed results in terms of blood sugar and cholesterol levels. So ideally, we would like this to be in a fasted state for at least 8 to 12 hours. So the instructions are given to the respondents on their first visit so that they can prepare and schedule an appointment for that part of the data collection.
Steve, can you hear that? 8 hours fasting.
Right now, I'm on 12 hours fasting.
So this is called the STEPS survey being conducted by the Ministry of Health, and Dr. Clapperton has informed us that it started already, or it's going to start soon.
Yeah, when is it starting?
It has started already. The data collection phase started on the 15th of April, and we have persons out there, and we're getting a good response so far, but we would really like to encourage persons to continue and be a part of this very important exercise.
All right, and I just want to ask you to repeat the importance of partaking in this survey.
So if we have to manage, we need to measure. So we are trying to manage this NCD problem that is not only unique to Trinidad and Tobago. It is in every country around the world, as you can see. And these are our efforts in Trinidad and Tobago to address this issue. And in order to better manage, we need to measure. So we're asking everyone to do their part so that we can collect the information and take further steps, no pun intended, to improve our programs and projects to have persons lead healthier lifestyles.
And the number again, if people want to confirm the identity of persons who may come to them to execute the survey.
Okay, so I will have to, so I will have to get back to you on that.
Yeah. in terms of that. I wanted to congratulate the Ministry of Health, though, for I think I saw a pull-out, was it yesterday, where it actually broke down what were healthy fats, what were bad fats, what were healthy carbohydrates, what were bad carbohydrates, and kind of simplified it for people to make better choices. I thought it was a really good initiative.
Thank you very much. A lot of hard work went into it, and we're really glad to see that it is well received.
Yeah.
Dr. Clapperton, thanks for being with us, and of course, much success with the STEPS program.
You're most welcome. And I do have that number here for you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So the number is 217-4664, extension 16623.
All right. Thank you so much for the information.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having
Have a good day. Let's update how it's going.
Will do.
All right. All right, Dr. Clapperton, thank you so much. All right, folks, this is where we're going to wrap it up for this. I know, almost at Hump Day, Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh my goodness, the weekend begins tonight, people, at the second after midnight. It was remiss of me not to say it. So put a smile on your face. The weekend is about to begin. And of course, there'll be even a bigger smile for next weekend, even though this weekend is Mother's Day. So treat your moms well. And of course, you can give your mom a belated
Happy
gift.
Mother's Day, everyone.
Yes, give your mom a belated Mother's Day gift of laughter for next week, Saturday and Sunday at Sapper, where we will have Love is a Walk. And I'm sure your mom will probably know about that. Love is a Walk, which will be ordered Sapper in San Fernando next week, Saturday and Sunday. Tickets are on sale at Sapper from Monday, 12 noon to 6 p.m. And tickets are on sale now at K-Squared Fashions outlets at C3 Center, Gulf City, and Brentwood Mall in Chagonas. And, of course, also at Fens of Marabella by the roundabout in Marabella. Have a fantastic day, whatever you do. And remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.